Hi everyone, my name is Malcolm Sasa. For this assignment, I chose one of the most powerful and timeless speeches in American history, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech. It was delivered on August 28, 1963, during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. Over a quarter million people gathered at the Lincoln Memorial to hear Dr. King speak, and what they heard that day still echoes through history. This speech isn't just memorable for its message, it's great because of how he said it. The rhythm, the emotion, and hope that came through every line. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born in Atlanta, Georgia in 1929. He was raised in a family that valued education, faith, and standing up for what's right. He went on to earn his doctorate in theology from Boston University, becoming both a pastor and a leader of the civil rights movement. Dr. King's approach was grounded in nonviolence, but his voice carried enormous power. Through events like the Montgomery bus boycott and the Birmingham campaign, he proved that peaceful protests could create real change. By the time he gave I Have a Dream, King had already become the moral center of the movement, calling for a nation to finally live up to its own promise of freedom and equality. In I Have a Dream, Dr. King reminds Americans that hundreds years after the Emancipation Proclamation, Black Americans were still not free in practice. He talks about the promissory note, the idea that the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence promised liberty and justice for all, but that promise hadn't been fulfilled yet. Then the speech shifts, moves from frustration to vision, from what's wrong to what could be right. When he repeats the words, I have a dream, it's not just poetic, it's a blueprint for a better future. He imagines a world where his children will, and I quote, not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. The speech builds momentum, like a song. You can feel the rhythm in its words, calm at first, then rising with energy and conviction, until it feels like the whole crowd is breathing with him. What makes this speech truly great isn't just what he said, it's how he said it. First, it's timeless. More than 60 years later, those same words would still fill today's conversations about justice and equality for all. Second of all, Dr. King's delivery was extraordinary. His pacing, his tone, his use of repetition, everything worked together to drive his message home. When he said, now is the time, it wasn't just a statement, it was a call to action. And finally, this speech balances intellect and emotion. It's deeply thoughtful, but also deeply human. Dr. King speaks to the head and the heart at the same time, and that's what separates a good speech from a great one. To me, I Have a Dream isn't just a moment in history. It's a reminder of what communication can do when it's driven by purpose. Dr. King's words continue to inspire people to see beyond their circumstances and believe in something greater: equality, compassion, and justice. Even though this speech was given more than 60 years ago, it still speaks to today's world. We're still fighting some of those same battles against inequality, against division, against the idea that some lives matter more than others. And yet, King's dream still stands as a kind of roadmap, not a description of where we are, but a vision of where we could be. What makes it so powerful is that it doesn't just ask us to hope, it asks us to act. It reminds us that dreams without actions are just ideas. Dr. King wasn't just painting a beautiful picture of the future, he was challenging everyone who heard him to help build him. When I listen to I Have a Dream, I'm reminded of how important it is to use your voice, even when it feels like no one's listening, even when change feels slow. A single voice, spoken with purpose and conviction, really can move people. It can spark something that lives on long after you're gone. And that's exactly what Dr. King did. He used his words to shape history. And to me, that was what makes I Have a Dream not just a great speech, but one of the greatest speeches ever given. Thank you.